Islands are some of the most isolated places on Earth, yet surprisingly, a few are shared between two different countries. Out of the 600,000 islands in the entire world, 20 are shared by more than one country, sometimes in ways that defy logic. Our first stop is New Guinea, the world's second largest island, shared between Indonesia and Papua New Guinea. This tropical island is famous for its incredible biodiversity and cultural diversity. The western half of New Guinea belongs to 6 Indonesian provinces, while the eastern half forms the independent nation of Papua New Guinea. This split is a remnant of colonial times, when the Dutch controlled the west and the British and Australians governed the east. The island is also extremely diverse in terms of tribes and languages, as nearly 850 languages are spoken here. The next biggest island with a border is pretty nearby, Borneo. Borneo is the only island in the world governed by 3 countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the tiny oil-rich Sultanate of Brunei. The Indonesian region of Kalimantan takes up most of the island, while Malaysia controls Sabah and Sarawak in the north. Brunei, a small nation on Borneo's north coast, is known for its wealth and rainforests. Now we move on to Ireland, an island with a complex history of division between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom. Ireland's division traces back to centuries of British rule, with tensions between Irish Catholics and British Protestants. In 1921, Ireland was divided, granting independence to the southern counties, while Northern Ireland remained part of the United Kingdom. The division led to a long history of conflict, famously known as the Troubles, which lasted until the late 20th century. Next up, we go to the Caribbean, where we find another divided island, Hispaniola, shared by Haiti in the east and the Dominican Republic in the west. Hispaniola's 2 sides reveal a stark cultural, linguistic, and economic divide. The average Haitian is nearly 10 times poorer than the average Dominican. The population of Haiti is mostly black, but Dominicans are mestizos or white. This division goes back to colonial times as well, with France colonizing the western part and Spain the eastern. So French and Haitian Creole are spoken on the Haitian side, and Spanish is spoken on the Dominican side. Over in the eastern Mediterranean there is Cyprus, the most politically divided, complex, and controversial on this list. Although the flag of the Republic of Cyprus shows the entire island to be a part of the country, the political situation is much worse than that. In the south, there is the Republic of Cyprus, which only controls 60% of the island. In the north, there is also the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, which is recognized by only Turkey, which accounts for 36% of the island. The remaining 4% is a buffer zone called the Green Line, created and controlled by the United Nations to prevent further hostilities by the Greek Cypriots and the Turkish Cypriots. The zone itself creates many wacky borders. On top of that, there are 2 British sovereign bases of Akrotiri and Decalia in the south. Back to the Caribbean again, and we have Saint-Martin in French, or Saint Martin in Dutch. This tiny island is the only mutual land border between the Netherlands and France. The French control 60% of the north, while the 40% in the south belongs to the Netherlands. With both countries being part of the EU, the island is also part of the European Union, but not the Schengen area, so you'll find full border checks when entering and exiting the island. Lastly and most interestingly, there is Merket, a small, rocky, uninhabited island in the Baltic Sea between Sweden and Finland. In 1809, Sweden ceded Finland to Russia, and a border was drawn through the Baltic Sea between Sweden and what would later become Finland. The island fell right on this border. But in 1885, Finland's Grand Duchy government mistakenly built a lighthouse on the Swedish side of the island, which Sweden wasn't too happy about. The border was redrawn in 1985 to create an inverted S shape, which placed the lighthouse on the Finnish side and gave Sweden an extra patch of land, creating a weird-looking border. From New Guinea's rainforest to Merket's rocky lighthouse, these islands remind us that geography and politics are deeply intertwined. Divided islands offer a rare look into how history shapes borders and how communities adapt to life on shared land. Thanks for watching.